The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to the Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you for tuning in again, everyone. And welcome back to the Songwriter Show. I'm your host, Sarantos. I'm a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words are so important to me, and that's why I'm so thrilled to host this show. I truly believe that every single song is a story. The Songwriter Show is broadcast live on number one ranked W4CY Radio with listeners in all 206 countries in the world and every state in the U.S. The station is licensed with ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and Sound Exchange, and has partnerships throughout the music industry, including iHeartRadio and exposure to over 300 million listeners.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Tonight we have two very special guests, Merrily Weeber and John Barnard. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them before we bring them on the show. Merrily Weeber sings with the warmth and spaciousness of her native San Antonio, Texas. She's toured as an opening act with Willie Nelson and also opened for both Waylon Jennings and John Sebastian. She toured extensively in Japan and in France, where she performed at the Madame Music Festival. John, besides being married to Merrily, is a musician, writer, and student of the piano. In his teens, he started out playing drums in his hometown, 60 miles south of Buffalo, New York. His early education was spent in the classrooms of late-night blues bars, and then he came out to California and realized writing songs was a lucrative living and switched to the piano. And together, we're glad to have him on the show. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great, doing good.
Well, it's great to have you guys on the show. I've read some very interesting things about you guys. How long have you guys known each other?
Oh, about 30 years.
Yeah, but 25.
There you go.
Is that all?
That's all.
Does it feel like yesterday?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Actually, it very much does.
How do you guys keep it fresh, or how do you guys stay young?
Well, you know, that's
We write songs.
That's one thing to do.
One thing is to go out and play and write songs.
I totally understand that. That's a great method to the madness there.
It sure is. It sure is. It does keep you on your toes, and you're always listening to new things, see what is going on in the music.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys have quite an extensive bio. Do you guys ever get tired of being with each other? Do you guys ever try new ventures with other artists, or do you guys strictly stick to your stuff now?
All the above. I mean, we vary quite a bit. Merrily goes out and works with several different acts, and she does what they call bumpers, you know, sings like little segues for television in 1 week, and then she'll be doing like demos for other people, and then she'll be doing her own material, and then we're gigging.
Yeah, and then we play together.
How often do you guys gig?
As often as we can, and sometimes there's stretches where we're doing every night, and there's stretches where we're home a lot.
Yeah. Maybe once a week, or once every other week. Or it's Christmas now, so there's more gigs.
Sure.
More parties.
Do you guys try to gig mostly locally now, or do you guys travel all over the world, the United States? What's your preference at this point?
We're mostly LA based at the moment.
Okay.
Because this is where we mostly do our studio work, and so we just play pretty locally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, LA is a pretty live scene, so that's a great place to be if you're a musician.
Yeah. It's an interesting place.
Yeah.
It's gotten a bit crowded with the freeways, but other than that, that's everybody's complaint.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your songwriting. How do you guys start? Is there a process? Do you do music first, lyrics? Do you guys start with the melody? How do you guys start typically?
I generally just sit down with my guitar and kind of play different things, just mess around. I kind of like that. And I just play different things. I've also got a lot of old ideas, on cassettes, and I go back and look at this stuff, and I go, wow, that was a great idea, Or John will mess around with something, and then I come in and finish it, or he finishes my stuff.
Yeah, and it's amazing because old ideas are new again. Especially, if no one's heard it before, it's amazing the stuff that's out there nowadays.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always nice to listen to things from way in the past, like going back to like Miles.
Yeah.
Davis, like that, and just to get your head around things you haven't heard in a while. Let's put it that way. That got you where you're at, and it kind of reminds you, and you go, "Oh yeah, that's right." And then that's a great place to start for writing songs.
And I think nowadays, I think in the past, maybe we were a little pigeonholed, but now with Spotify, Apple Music, some of the young kids, I personally love 80s music, and they are like loving 80s music. And you can find people that are listening to every sort of time frame and genre nowadays.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, right. And you see it, you hear it in their music. Bruno Mars or Aguilera, or forget the other little girl, but they take ideas, and so do we. And and 80s is a cool era.
You can even go back to the classics. I mean, I'm still ripping ideas from a little bit of Chopin. I'll stick into a little piece. Just recently we did that, actually. And hey, it's community property now, so.
Well, good music is good music, and I think now that it's Christmas time, I'm amazed whenever I hear the Bing Crosby or some of these classic Christmas songs. Every year how many artists try to put out new Christmas originals and covers, but some of those classic songs are still the best.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, it's timeless. So
I know. I think go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so John, you play the piano, correct?
That is correct.
And do you guys, she said earlier that sometimes you finish her work, she finishes yours. Are you guys open to every genre? Do you experiment with your piano and guitar, or do you kind of limit yourselves to a certain sound?
We're pretty open. We explore a lot of different things. Like I said, we go from Tony Bennett to the Stones to Chopin. I mean, you look at all that and you borrow a little bit or get inspired by a little bit of this and that, and you find the commonalities in them all.
Yeah.
I mean, just because they're dead and gone so many hundreds of years, they weren't too much different from musicians today.
That's true. That's a great variety. Those three people you mentioned. Wow, that's fascinating. And Tony Bennett is still around, still performing, and that guy's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Yes, he is.
They're coming to the where is it? The Orange Bowl.
Yeah. No, not Orange Bowl. The place in Pasadena.
The place in Pasadena. They're coming there. And they say this is their last tour, or?
But they've been saying that for years.
Yeah. No. Everyone says that over and over, right? Elton John, Billy Joel. It's kind of funny. Is he coming out there with Lady Gaga, or is he done doing shows with Lady Gaga?
Tony's coming. He comes out periodically and stuff to different places out here. I think the last time he was here, he played the Bowl, and that was in the summer. But I'm not sure if he's going to have her on the bill. It depends, I guess, on their scheduling.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about who inspired you guys or who got you into music, and you can each answer individually.
Okay, John, it's emotioning to me. When I was 10. When I was 10, folk was in, and it's the 60s. I'm from the 60s, and you had a lot of acoustic, music, and I heard, the stuff in the 60s and went, oh my goodness. And I just sit in my room, either you want to do it or you don't. I sit in my room with a ukulele and play every night. And my brother said, I remember you playing every night in your room. I went, really? Did I do that? But, you just start off playing. And I went from a little baby ukulele to a baritone ukulele to when I was 16, silver tone guitar, and just never stopped, and people, maybe they realize, maybe they don't, but you got to practice a lot, to get good.
For sure. Yeah.
And so either you want to do it or you don't. And I just heard that 60s music, and I just went, wow, this is great. So, and John?
Yeah, it comes from a variety. Ramsey Lewis was a huge influence. I started out as a drummer, so L.D. Young and Red Holt, they were his rhythm section. They were a huge influence. And then as time went on, of course, everybody back in those days was affected by the Beatles and the Stones and the British invasion. But there was also, even back then, I appreciated what people like Tony Bennett and Sinatra were doing. And as years have gone by, as we've seen, it's amazing what Tony Bennett has continued to do. And obviously, Frank Sinatra's legacy is very strong. But, it comes from a variety of places, and it doesn't always come from music. Your first love, high school dances, a lot of places, a lot of situations in life that, you just pick and choose from.
Sure.
But something that you said, that practicing, that's the trick. You got to kind of find a convenient place in your mind where you go, it's okay to do that. Because it can be, you can procrastinate around that a lot. But I found that it's like meditation in a way. And you're yet accomplishing something. And it's ongoing. I'll never be a really great piano player. But you're always striving to do that and thinking, if I practice more, somehow I'll be a little bit better.
Yeah. How often do you guys try to write songs? Every day, once a month, once a week, or whenever you kind of get in the mood?
Yeah, I did it today, and I do like to co-write. I got about 4 co-writers, and boy, some of this stuff is just fantastic, and so I actually want to work on it and tear it apart and put in a new lyric. But John and I, we mess around about once every couple weeks or something like that, or is it?
Well, it depends. If we have gigs coming up, it's daily.
It's daily, yeah.
And then if we don't, again, that procrastination will set in. Mm-hmm. But we'll go off to our own corners and practice and do things, and then we'll come together and toss ideas around. It's it's an interesting process. Not always smooth, but it gets there.
You have to be really open, and I have to be open. If you ask to co-write with somebody, you have to be open and at least let it in, and if you don't like it, okay. But,
one of the other great avenues is reading. Anything, books, the cheap detective, not cheap, but, the quick read of detective stuff, or the classics or anything, or even science manuals, because that can be great for ideas.
Yeah.
But there's so much material, and that's so vital. I know some friends of ours who are much more successful at this, but that was one of the things they always stressed, was how much they read stuff and the ideas they prayed back and forth. And,
that's a great idea. Absolutely. I think you get a lot of inspiration from reading, watching TV shows. There's so many talented writers out there.
That's true.
Movies. Yeah. Movies are incredibly inspiring, and we've got some really good movies right now.
Yeah.
She watches more movies than I do, but yes, that's it.
Do you guys ever get nervous before a performance or competition, or are you guys over that?
We're over that.
Well,
But I'm nervous. I'm nervous. But, you know, we did a little private party for 30 little children and 30 adults. And it ended up being a lot more. But that was what it was. And we had to sing for 2 hours. And we had to do possibly children's songs, Christmas songs, and our songs that are apropos to children, you know. And it's like, wow.
It was a lot of fun.
You have to pick and choose. I mean, I'm not going to be singing Scotch and Soda, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but they were great. So much better dances in the world of kids.
Yeah.
You could, but they'd probably escort you out of there.
Yeah. We had to pick and choose. Yeah.
Do you guys teach any music to kids or anything like that?
I used to teach piano, but then I found, first of all, I didn't feel adequate enough to do that. Even though I probably am, but you're always going, well, who am I to be? You know, you have to be careful because they're such spongy minds. They absorb everything.
Sure.
And it took a lot of time, and I kind of did it for a while and then just gracefully bowed out from doing it. But great experience. I maybe someday will return to it, but it's not something I just feel
comfortable with
or adequate doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What advice would you give? A someone in their 20s or 30s that wants to pursue a music career? Any advice you have for them?
Go to law school.
Why law school?
The old joke is, if you want to make a small fortune, music business, start out with a fortune. Yes, we've all heard that.
Now they'll need to and listen to all the music. You know, they need to listen to the 60s and before that, the 40s, 30s. You know, right?
Yeah.
Actually, when they start on their instrument, they should have no instruction at first. I think, my own personal view, but let them find their way around the instrument, whether it's piano, guitar, drums, on their own for like a month before you step in and start suggesting instruction. Let them find their head on it and see if they can develop that thriving interest that has kept me occupied since I first started playing music. And if they don't have that, that's fine. But it's tough to impose this type of discipline on someone that doesn't really want to do it.
Yeah, they have to want to.
Yeah.
I went online and getting ready to perform a tune that's kind of jazzy. And so I went online to look for a guitar teacher, you know, a jazz guitar teacher. And wow, there was a great guy. I didn't get his name because I'm just starting out. It made me frustrated to see it, you know, too much work, whatever. But anyway, I'll go back and just relax, take a breath, and just start, you know, working these simple little jazz chords. And it was, you know, you can get a lot of information on the internet.
Absolutely.
I take voice lessons from a fella, and he has a little class online, and I just go and boom, you know. Yeah. Wonderful. It's a bit of a generic class. You know, it's not going to be tuned to me and what I need and my voice and, you know, where I'm trying to go. But it's there for me, and it's easy.
And I think continuing to take classes and continuing to learn, and I think that's really the key to continuing to get better as an artist.
You hope to get better, yes. It's just that constant quest of, you know, I hear things played back from months ago, and I go, wow, that's pretty good. But then, you know, I can't accept that because I'll sit at the piano and I'll try something new, and I'll go, you know, I really have to work at this.
Do you write every day?
What's that?
Do you write every day?
You know, I have this, I used to be cursed. I mean, sometimes I couldn't turn it off. Like you said, you know, you go to the gym, you watch a movie, and you're always kind of popping ideas. And I've purposely trained myself at this point, because I have a couple of thousand songs, where I will literally just try to not let anything escape and just maybe every like 2-3 days. Otherwise, my problem is when I want to decide what I'm going to release, I put out a new song every month. I literally have to go through this stack in this library and try to figure out what I'm in the mood for. And it's difficult. It really is. So I try to rein myself in. Yeah. So tell us about this first song we're going to listen to. We're going to listen to 2 of your songs. What's the first song that you want us to tell us a little bit about it right now before we play it?
Sleepy Eyes was written some years ago. Let's just put it that way. But it since we just came off recently that children's gig, this was one of the songs we played, and it's just a very simple idea about a parent trying to convince the child to go to sleep, which happens daily. So that's basically, and it's nothing more or less than that. It's just simply that. It's like an impressionist painting of a child going to sleep.
Okay, well, let's take a listen to it, and then we'll come back, and I'll ask you guys some fun questions, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, so here we go.
All right.
The sun is set behind the hill, and all the birds have grown still. The moon and stars fill the sky. Sleepy eyes, sleepy eyes. The day that dawned so bright and new has played its part and sung its tune. Nothing left we can do. Sleepy eyes, sleepy eyes. Although the day may be parted, it has shown us the way where the dreams that you dream may all come true, but until they do, we must find a place to rest, a cozy little feather bed. Good night kiss, make a wish, sleepy eyes, sleepy eyes. Rest until the new day comes, sleepy eyes, sleepy eyes, sleep.
Wow, Merrily, your voice really is that of an angel. That's a wonderful voice you got there.
Thank you.
Wow. So I was thinking about a question as I was listening to that, and I got to ask you guys, what's your favorite 80s song? We talked about the 80s a little bit earlier.
Oh,
That's a tough one.
that's a tough one. I don't remember the names and stuff of the 80s. I could
Because
tell
the
you.
80s kind of blended in with the 90s, right? After the 70s.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Let's see. Favorite 80s song. Name some artists, and I can
Well,
big artists. In
Thriller was happening there.
Thriller, I was going to say
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's one of my favorite 80s artists for sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, I like Prince.
Yeah, Prince is great.
Prince.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those tracks of Michael Jackson where they strip away all the backing tracks and everything, and
Yeah.
it's just his voice. And especially when he was around 10, and you go, my gosh, that guy's only 10 and he's singing amazing.
Yeah.
So he was really quite a force.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely had a unique skill set. What's the coolest road trip you guys have ever been on together?
Oh well, we went to Hydra in Egypt. In Greece.
Okay.
And it's one of the islands off Greece, and we were there. But it was so attractive because there's absolutely no cars on the island. They're against the law. So Your mode of transportation was donkey, but
donkey.
it was, and the best part of the whole deal, we didn't know it at the time, is that it's a 2-hour boat ride from Athens. So when you let off the boat, as the boat is going away, the guy goes, "We on strike. We not come back several days. Goodbye." And you're standing there going, "Whoa!" But because we got stuck a couple extra days there, it was heaven.
It's Leonard Cohen has the house on Hydra.
Yeah. The house on Hydra.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, and we went by it and sat in front of it and walked around it and waited for him, but he never came.
He never showed up. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm actually Greek. So you're talking about the Greek islands, and I've been there many times, and you got to go to like Mykonos, Santorini. There's a lot of beautiful islands, Crete. Yeah, have you guys ever?
Hydra was magic. It was, I don't know. I could see myself going back there and never leaving the island.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done a gig in Greece at the Acropolis, like Yanni or anything like that, or no?
No, not like that.
We were in Rome and we sang in a restaurant. Every restaurant had a piano in it, just about. It was a nice, restaurant, had a piano. And then all the airports had pianos. And you could just go and sit down and sing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw. I think you're right. I think at the Italian airport there's a piano. I remember somebody playing on that thing. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to get you guys. You guys arrange the gig at the Coliseum. I'll arrange the gig at the Acropolis, and we can, play. We can open for each other. Okay.
Oh, I love that.
That would be wonderful.
Well, you're Greek. You're Greek. You got to set this up.
I got to work on it. I'm going to call the Greek consulate, see what I can do from Chicago.
There you go.
What do you guys have any hidden talents that you want to expose to our fans?
Well, not that. Not public radio.
I'm a chef.
Oh, okay.
I'm a chef, and I'm bongers over cooking and eating. I'm, learning new things and getting new cookbooks, and just got a new one, but I can't pronounce his name. Atta, something odd. He lives in England, but anyway, that's what I do.
She's very good at it.
Cooking.
I can highly recommend.
And what do you do? What else do you? Oh, John is into history, and
okay.
Going to be putting out a book.
Yeah, I was a history major in school, so
I feel like
we have a book coming.
A book forthcoming.
So
that's great. I feel like we're kindred spirits here. I feel like I love history. I'm Greek. You're talking about cooking. I grew up in the restaurant business with my dad. So it's like, I feel like everything you guys are saying, it's like there's this circle here we're connecting.
That means we're definitely going to gig at the Coliseum.
Where do you live?
Chicago. Chicago, yeah.
A little far away.
The only problem I have as I've gotten older is I feel like all I do is work out so I could eat, though,
Yeah.
Well, Chicago's
We've been to Chicago.
Yeah, we've been there. It's cold. It was cold there, and
we sent you a song that will fit the Chicago feel, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell the audience something that you guys don't like to do. What's like the thing you hate doing for each of you guys?
Flying. I'm not very fond of flying. I do it, but I'm not fond of it. That's true of a lot of people, though. When I was, years ago, it was a big thrill the first couple times, but, as years go by, you kind of go, oh, good. I got to go down to the LAX and get on a plane. Yeah. It's not fun.
Yeah. How about you, Merrill?
I don't like to exercise, which is horrible. And,
but she's skinny and beautiful, so.
But I don't like to vocalize anymore. And I'm the kind of girl that vocalizes like every day or every other, depending on gigs and stuff. And it's just getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
But you got it. Tony Bennett, you got to do it.
Yeah, that's true. So, John, I feel like that's a song topic right there. That she's skinny, but she's still beautiful and she hates working out. I feel like you could spin that into a song.
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. Definitely. We'll put your name on it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll collaborate. We'll co-write. We'll co-write over Skype or something.
I've got him writing it down. She's skinny, but she doesn't like to exercise, but she's skinny.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Which is beautiful anyway.
All right. Okay.
So one of the questions that I like asking all of my guests, and I'm going to ask you guys, how do we avoid scams? Or tell us about a scam that you guys fell for that all the songwriters listening, can kind of be warned about.
Never pay money to have people listen to your songs. Period.
Mm-hmm. And there's new things arising, that want, money, and it's hard.
And if people talk with their hands a lot, be wary of that. I've noticed over the years, it's like the info commercial guys. But really, no, see, the idea, besides the great pleasure and the art of it all, the concept is that I want to be paid for my music. I don't want to pay somebody to play, or, it's supposed to be the other way around. And I think, the weakening of the unions over the years and situations we've seen, not just in music, but the pay scale for everyone in general kind of go down, while expenses certainly have not. But regardless, that's a big red flag. Be careful if people say, "Hey, you just pay me and I can do," Well, they're looking for both payments.
Yeah, no, that's true. John, what's the last gift you gave Merrily?
What's the last what?
The last gift you gave her.
Well, lipsticks. I got a lipsticks in that cookbook she was talking about earlier.
Merrily, what's the funniest thing that's happened to you in the last week?
Oh, man.
And it can't be about John. It's got to be about someone else.
Yeah. Funniest thing. Gosh, well, I've been working with the same boss, cooking, chefing, and I'll be cater and do anything. And we've been together a long time, this woman, and it's not funny, but I just realized, gosh, I feel like I can't live without her now, you get connected.
Yeah.
You get so connected, and all of a sudden it's like you're thinking too much of her,
That sounds like a song too.
What's that?
I said that sounds like a song too, that you're connected with your boss. I don't think anyone's ever written anything like that.
Right.
What's the craziest thing your boss has ever asked you to do, Merrily?
The craziest thing?
Yeah, your boss ever asked you to do.
What did she ask me to do?
Yeah, what's the craziest thing she's asked you to do?
For 1,000.
Well, let's see. I told her, I said, Mary Pat, I only want to work 2 days a week. I've been working with her a long time. I only want to work 2 days a week now. But she is so sly. Sly as a fox. And now I'm working 3 days a week. And I'm going, what's up with this?
Yeah.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Speaking of, do you guys have snow back there?
We do. We had a ton of snow, then it rained, it all went away, then it snowed again, and now there's a little bit on the ground, but not much, but it's getting colder now, so it's typical Chicago.
Yeah. I when I was living back east, what you guys had in Chicago, we would get 24 hours later up around Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, the East Coast now is getting slammed with some of these storms.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Chicago's not as bad as it used to be.
I know. I'm seeing that. But there's a great deal of romance about a full moon on a winter's night, though, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the trifecta. That's the third cool song idea that we've mentioned on this show. You guys got to get to writing after we're done here.
I've got a lot of songs. I woke up one morning and I've got, let's say I write with about maybe 5 co-writers. In each one I've got 2 or 3 songs with. and they're not getting finished, you know. And I just said to myself, I'm not going to do any more, start any more, and I'm going to try so hard. All I want for Christmas is to finish these songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to finish. I'm tired of not finishing. And they're going to take more discipline and more work. So,
yeah, I hear you. Tell us a little bit about where our listeners can find information about you guys and where can they buy your music.
Well, you have the Wix site. She has a Wix site where you can go see and hear her. And we're playing with a variety of different acts. We play with a guy named Trevor McShane, who's musical director, and he does concerts in the LA area. I've co-written with some notable songwriters, a guy named Jack Tempchin.
Yeah.
He's a good friend, and we've written together and played together for many years.
Many years.
Yeah. He's had some major successes. And then there's up-and-coming songwriters like Bill Franklin. He's a friend that's going to be, you'll be hearing of him. John Scott's another one. He's a great songwriter.
We write every day.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different acts that I'm either musically playing with on gigs or producing. Otherwise, just functioning in some way with them, writing songs with them. So it's quite a large community. Another guy is Norm Sancho. I forgot to mention him. He's really good. He works with Johnny Rivers a lot.
And Jack Tempchin.
Yeah, that crowd. Anyway, those guys.
Yeah, Trevor's a great guy. But tell us your website. What's the domain name for listeners?
It's Wix. Here, let me get it up on the computer. And if you go to WIX, it's that site, and I think I sent you a link, and I'm trying to see if I did, and I'll tell you what it is here in a second. I'm kind of fumbling. So
if the fans just type up your names, they'll find it on there?
Yeah, BarWeb2 is what they would look for at Wix site. So BarWeb2 Wix, WIXSITE, one word, .com. It should come up.
Okay. And tell us about this next song we're going to listen to. What was the inspiration behind this?
Well, the inspiration for sending it is that you're in Chicago and we're in LA.
You're tormenting me.
Yeah, but, I do miss the white Christmases. We do have a home back east, back in the Buffalo area, and it's beautiful back there. And other than the Bills, it's been a tough year. But I'll always be a Bills fan. I'm sure you're a Bears fan. But
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And you did nicely against the local team from here.
I was so excited. You know what? We've been tormented here for the last couple of years, and I'm on the edge of my seat thinking, okay, are they going to mess us up? But they're, you know what, man, in Chicago, we're proud of our defense. So that was a great game for us. Yeah.
It was. And you proved your mettle, and you came through, and the Rams kind of went home with their tails between their legs.
Yeah.
But I know what it's like to go year after year and be disappointed as a Bills fan, but go Bills.
Well, how many Super Bowls with Mark Levy, right? 4, I think, and great teams to watch.
Let me just say something about that. It's the only team in the history of all playoff teams, I think basketball, baseball, and football, it's the only team that has gone 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say we won any of them, but we did go 4 years in a row.
No, but they were exciting to watch, so,
Until the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
the famous thing, go ahead.
I was going to say, tell us a little more about the song before we listen to it. Anything you want to shout out? Or
It's the idea of your hands are in your pocket, you're walking with the one you love, it's a brand new snow is falling, it's a beautiful night, and it's that time of year.
All right. Well, with that introduction, it was a pleasure having you guys on the show. Have a great night.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, here we go.
glow of a street light. Walking with my true love, talking with my true love. Oh yeah. Whoa, whoa. Night air carried the scent of a fireplace. I said we can go up to my place. Walking with my true love, talking with my true love. Oh yeah. Oh, oh. And I know I'm in love. I thank the heavens up above, full moon shining down on a cold night. Dance on the wall, warm as a candle's glow. And outside the window I watch our new falling snow. Holding on to my love, dreaming about true, true love. Oh yeah. Whoa, whoa. And I know I'm in love. I thank the heavens up above, full moon shining down on a cold night.
Wow, absolutely love that voice. So I want to thank our guests for being on with us tonight, John and Merrily. I appreciate their time. I want to thank all our listeners for listening to the show tonight. And again, Christmas is right around the corner. We're at about 2 weeks now. So we're going to end this show with another original Christmas song of mine called Jesus is Born. Play it on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and I think it'll send chills through your back. Have a wonderful night. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Feels clean, the sky is quiet, the moon is dreaming. This feels like the night. Something special will happen, something memorable, something quite drastic. Man's future path will be changed forever, forever. Jesus is born. Let the angels rejoice. Jesus is born. Mankind will now have a choice. Jesus is born, and the world will be saved. Jesus is born, and the world will never be the same. The time is now. The moment is right. The animals know somehow this feels like a moment in time. Something special has happened, something meaningful, something rather fantastic. Heaven's doors will soon be open forever, forever. Jesus is born. Let the angels rejoice. Jesus is born. Mankind will now have a choice. Jesus is born, and the world will be saved. Jesus is born, and the world will never be the same. Jesus is born. Let the angels rejoice. Jesus is born. Mankind will now have a choice. Jesus is born, and the world will be saved. Jesus is born, and the world will never be the same. Little baby Jesus is born, and the world is saved forever.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.